Hello, my name is Trydar. Today we're going to be taking a look at Japersx Roman Temple in Minecraft. Let's get started. Now this temple here was built by a friend of mine, Japersx, and I'm doing a building showcase on it because it's really excellent work. I mean, as you can see, it's really exquisite. And good work deserves to be seen. So we are going to take our time and take a look around the temple. First, let's back off a bit and get the grand view of it. Of course, it's a Roman temple, which means it's on a high podium, done in the Corinthian order with a lot of ornamentations. And as we go, we might notice a couple of familiar statues. I think we've got a hoplite up there, and one of the equestrian statues. Of course, this temple is so large that they can actually be used as acroterion, where normally they would be focal point statues. I think we've even got some Roman soldiers over there. Made that video long ago. Of course, these statues are variations of evil sketches statues he made a long time ago. Now, unlike the temples I do, you can see that this one has quite a lot of color. Roman temples, when they were brand new, were known for having a lot of garish color. Well, we would call it garish today with our Renaissance sensibilities. But the reason I usually prefer my Roman temples to be somewhat bleached by the ravages of time. But if you want to see something look like it did when it was new, of course we're going to be taking a look at that today. Don't even think about asking for a tutorial on this. You could it's way too big for that. I mean, it's possible, but it's still quite large. And besides, it's not my building. It's his Japper's building, so you should direct all your nice comments to him today and not to me, because remember, this is his building. I'm just doing a showcase on it. The portico around here looks quite nice, though. All those Corinthian columns and everything. The entablature up there looks really nice in its details. We'll take a closer look at that in a moment. We can also see, though, that he has done a lot of extra work in doing some texturing. So if we get a little closer, down here we can see that he's done some basic texturing work, which is always good to do. He's apparently done it for all the colors. You can see the red back here behind the frieze on the podium. It looks like we have, I think, these could be lions or bulls with little laurel wreaths between them. Very typical Roman pattern to have the carved laurel wreaths and everything. But of course, this building is quite out of scale to the Minecraft character. I mean, we're only 2 blocks tall, and this is, well, I didn't measure it. It's very, very tall. Very nice. We can also, I think we can see some laurel wreaths up here hanging between the Corinthian columns. Get a closer look at those. Because these columns are much bigger than the typical ones I do, I usually stick to 3x3 at maximum. But these appear to be with the walls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It looks like they're about 9 blocks in diameter. Oh, 3 block. That they're about 9 blocks in diameter here. And then banded around the top here, we have these hanging laurel wreaths. Very nice little detail. And of course, we have the showpiece up here, of course, the acanthus leaves for the Corinthian capitals. Of course, these are much more detailed capitals than I have previously attempted to build. Usually when we're doing my capitals, we'll stop with the stairs and everything. Because this is very intricate work. Of course, when you're standing up here close to it, it doesn't look like much. But when you stand back from it a ways, we can clearly see the Corinthian acanthus leaves and everything carved into the capitals there. Quite nice, quite nice. Up here, let's take a look now at the entablature. Nice repeating design details for the entablature. Looks like we've also got a carved frieze up here on the entablature as well. A nice repeating design. Very nice. Usually I'll just put a little band of diorite for that because we don't have the block resolution. But the cornice on this is quite nice. Up here as well, we got the details of the raking cornice. Coming out here for the pediment. Before we take a look at that, let's skim over the roof. Very typical Roman style roof up here. You got a couple of ridges through it, and of course the small decorative finials along the top of the cornice here. Quite nice. Usually I'll just do very basic finials, but of course when you have a temple this big, you can get a lot more block resolution out of those, so you can do a lot more details. Swing around here to the front again and take a look at what we have set into the tympanum here. With the tympanum this large, that's the triangular space inside the pediment, the tympanum. You can get a lot of carved detail in these. It looks like we have a good Roman eagle up there in center. A lot of probably carved laurel wreaths in the background and everything, and various carved details. I even see some smaller hints of eagles down there. Looks like we've got an animal here like we have on the bottom frieze on the podium. Perhaps a statue here and another animal there facing it. Very, very nice design. Sometimes Roman tympanum, they could be, sometimes they were very detailed and carved, and sometimes they were a bit more basic. This one's a good mix of that one. Greek pediments tended to be completely stuffed with sculptures, I think. So here we see what looks to be the equestrian statue. But here, this is normally a large statue in the middle of a plaza. But this temple is so big, we can actually reduce that to being an acroterion up here. Just about the right size for that, I think, as well as the hoplite statue. I believe this is the smallest version of that. Of course, the biggest version would be the Colossus. Looks really good up here for acroterion, though, I have to say. I'm a big fan of that. So if we land down, let's take, we've taken the 10,000 foot view of the temple. Let's get a little closer now. We can see we've got a couple of statues down here, two equestrian statues beside each other with some Roman soldier statues. Along the side there, he's even added some decorative topiary trees. And if we land, let's get the full effect by ascending the steps. Of course, when you make steps, you don't want to have them just go straight up. You want to have these little landings periodically with every flight of steps. A good thing to do. And let's go all the way up to the top here, so we can just about see under here. We will have a night vision potion in a moment. I want to see what it looked like with all the natural lighting first, though. Let's see. There we are. So we can see that he's done quite a lot of detail up there in the coffers of that. Let's take a look at the floor first, though. We've got a quite nice floor design pattern here. I don't really do the patterns when we have the stairs incised into it like that, but you can do that. Anything you won't fall into when you're looking at it in Minecraft would be good. And we have some screens back here. Not really sure what those are for. I think we have some fire pots though over here as well for a good effect, and of course some decorative spiral trees as well. Nice design for that. We can see behind the temple here for the walls, we have the usual pattern I like to do with the two-dimensional bricks and everything. Even though it's just a 2-block segment, it can give us a very three-dimensional effect. Like that there. Get a closer look at the coffers up here. We can see we've got, looks like a similar design to what's down there on the floor, just echoed up here on the top. Let's see, there's no frieze on this one up here. And of course, being a good Roman temple, the back is rather plain. It's one of the rules of Roman temple design. It always has to be on a high podium, and you don't much care about the back, because what's really important in Roman temple design is to have the front facade have all the impact. This is the face where the Romans would spend all their money. Now, it's also on the interior, which we're going to take a look at shortly, where the Romans would spend the rest of the money. Make everything look nice and there. Oh, well, we have our potions. Just back off a little bit here. You can see he's colored the lower third of the columns. Sort of a red ochre color, which the Romans would have typically done on not every temple, but a lot of them. I believe this is also something Ramon did on his temples as well. From the previous showcases, he also does excellent work. So let's land here and sort of make our way into the inner sanctum of the temple. Now that we've taken a good look at the exterior, I think I've said about all I can on that there. Of course, we see some rather large doors here. In Roman times, these have been big bronze doors. The bronze doors, the original ones, are still on the Pantheon. By the way, that's like the only set of Roman bronze doors that's left. All the other ones were, you know, carted off, melted down, who knows. So we have some statues. Over here, some equestrian statues. I believe that's 6 on either side, for a total of 12. More trees and everything. It's got a very Assassin's Creed vibe going to it. Of course, here we have the door, which I think we're just going to have to break our way into this one. And let's take a look inside the temple. Ooh. Very, very nice in here. Typical Roman design in here with the pilasters and the coffered ceiling. Up there as well, the transverse beams and everything. Of course, typical Roman design. We do have a lot of niches in here for the walls to receive various statues. A couple of arch niches up here with some square ones above that, some even smaller ones above that there. Very, very typical. Good Roman pattern on that. A couple here by the door. Like we've got a nice Roman eagle. And a recessed carved area up there as well. Let's take a look at the floor. Ooh. Very nice. Good rectangular red and white Roman floor pattern. Very nice repeating pattern. I approve. Let's head a little bit deeper into the temple back here, though. Take a look at what is quite obviously the main altar back here. So let's head up the steps and see what we have here. The altar's quite big. Let's get a little altitude. So I guess this is where the sacrifices would go. Although I think typically You would have the burning altar out front somewhere. But as is typical of temples, you would of course have some big statues back here as well, perhaps of the emperor or whoever the temple would be dedicated to. And I think it was the forum of Julius Caesar. He actually put a statue of Cleopatra in his temple right up there beside the statue of Venus. That was quite a big scandal in its day. But the statue stayed there. It was apparently quite a good-looking statue, by all accounts. Looks like we have some Roman soldier statues up here up top. Nice little carved panel there in the middle. And all the various statues in here as well. Quite nice. Let's take a look back towards the exit here. We have a very, very large space in here, as you can tell, even though, I mean, it's upscaled quite a bit from what it would be, so it's a lot bigger than real life. But of course, you know, Minecraft. If you want to get this kind of detail, you really have to go quite big and out of scale to get everything with correct details. But I think that you will agree for a temple project like this, especially if you want to do the Corinthian order and everything, it's quite worth it to do that. I think the biggest thing I have done is the Parthenon, obviously, well, and the Pantheon. That's probably my biggest two temples I have done. The general reason I don't build on this particular scale is because I like to stack columns up and everything. When you're going to be building something this large, you can't really recycle the bits and pieces for other buildings, as it were, because, you know, like the Minecraft height limit is not too far above this, so you can only build it so high. But of course, this building here is, of course, available for download in the video descriptions, at least for Java versions. There may also be a schematic. I'm not quite sure. But Japersx has quite a lot of other projects on his Planet Minecraft page, which is going to be linked in the video description for you to go take a look at. So if you have enjoyed this building, I hope that you will leave him some very nice comments in the video description. He'll be down there reading and hopefully replying to you. So I would like to thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed the temple tour of Japersx Roman Temple in Minecraft.